Hey, this is PT, and I want you to check this out. All right, we're in the book of Acts, chapter 6, all the way through the end of chapter 7. We're talking about this guy, Stephen. You know, one of the ways to read or study the Bible, because there's options. You can read, and reading's great. I mean, we're on a reading plan at the Sound. I think it's fantastic. But there are other things you can do to learn the Bible, and studying is one of them. There's all kinds of Bible study methods, and maybe I'll make a video about those. But one of them is the character analysis study, or a character study. So Stephen is really contained in Acts 6 and 7. So I'm not going to read the entire chapter. In fact, I'm going to read, I don't think, anything. But I'm going to tell you what I learned of Stephen by reading. And that's one of the ways you learn about biblical people, is you just read about them and then you jot down what you learned. As I'm going through this, what I encourage you to do is I encourage you to go, oh, that's an attribute that I want. Okay, you don't have to, I know all of them are great attributes, but there's going to be one or two that really stick out to you. So I challenge you, let God stick something out to you that he wants to speak to you on. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Number one, Stephen means crown in Greek. That's cool. Not a really character analysis, just cool. I know how to look up Greek. That was a joke. It was just a joke. Okay, Stephen was of good reputation because that's who they chose. He was full of the Holy Spirit because that's who they chose. Remember earlier on in Acts 6. And then he was also full of wisdom because that's who they chose. A guy with good reputation, full of the Holy Spirit, and full of wisdom. He was also liked by the church, or else he wouldn't have been chosen? Are you ready? Are you with me? Okay, so the first thing it says that he was full of grace. Now we think of undeserved favor because that's the nice little Christian answer for what grace is. Let me just read to you out of one of the Greek dictionaries that I used. Grace, a winning quality or attractiveness that invites a favorable reaction. Oh man, that is so good. Let me read it again. A winning quality or attractiveness that invites a favorable reaction. I would like to be full of grace. You know what I mean? Like when I walk into a room, I get a favorable reaction, right? When people are giving away money, I get a favorable reaction. I'm not just talking about those two things, but you get what I'm saying. That gives you the picture like, hey, being full of grace actually draws people to you. Also, grace is a beneficent, whew, that's so hard for me to say. It's not even Greek. I don't even know. You have a disposition towards somebody that's favorable. So grace is someone's disposition towards you is favorable, and it's also it's you have a disposition towards others that's favorable. So when you walk into a room, people are like, oh, wow, so-and-so, in my case, it'd be Terry's here. He's going to say something good. I don't know that anyone says that about me. But I got this friend, Brian Griffith. I've told you about him before. He walks into a room, and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to get pumped up because he has a favorable disposition towards me. He is full of grace. So that was Stephen. That's a good one right there. I got a few others. He was full of power or ability, the word we get dynamite from, but not just explosive power, but he had the ability to do something. What did he do? Well, he did great wonders. And that's supernatural stuff to make you go, what? Okay, that's a wonder. And then he did signs. Now, what are signs? Signs are supernatural stuff that points to God. He did those too. He was not afraid of negative feedback. Ooh, he just said it like it was. And if he got negative feedback, no problem. He was able to stay full of the Holy Spirit in conflict. They were like, we can't argue with this guy. He just gives us spiritual answers. See, he was able to release the wisdom from God that he had received. And also he was able to release spiritual words to argue spiritual things. He confounded people. They're like, I don't know what else we can do to win an argument with this guy. Right, because he wasn't arguing. He was just giving out the truth. He was not able or not afraid of being punished by the culture for what he said. Ooh, that's a good one. It's a good one. But what he said was the gospel. He wasn't talking about politics. He wasn't talking about all these other cultural things. He was talking about Jesus. He was talking about the gospel. After a conflict, he didn't shy away from being in public. In other words, sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes, I have a disagreement that's heated, emotional with somebody. Next time you see him, you're kind of like, hey, how you doing? You kind of avoid him. Not Stephen. Though men were after him, he was in public. Here I am. His personal presence or his countenance, the expression of a body in regards to emotion or mood or a state. That's countenance. His countenance was like an angel when he was under pressure. I mean, not just like when everything was going good and he was in worship and they just got done with a 2-hour-long worship set and you were on the floor and crying and laughing and dancing and then you look like an angel. No, he was in the middle of conflict and they were accusing him and his face looked like an angel. That's a good attribute. 2 more. He had extensive knowledge of the word and the story of Israel. He recited it to him. It was a good one. And I encourage you to go through. If you've never read the Old Testament, read Stephen's oration of the history, very brief, but history of Israel. It's really fantastic. And the last thing I noted that he was fearless in speech. Stephen was fearless in speech. So which one of those, or maybe 2 of those, stood out to you? I'd love for you to, if you're looking at on the website or if you're on YouTube, just comment down which ones stood out to you. Like, yeah, I want to get more of those. I want to get more of those. Stephen was a great man. I want to get some more of those. Those things, I don't even know. I think I'm going with the signs and wonders. In every chapter so far in Acts, they've been talking about people doing wonders and signs. I want to be more like him in that. I want to do wonders and signs. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that brief character study of Stephen. This is PT, and I wanted you to check that out.